Okay, here's my second installment to my themes video on how to create your own theme. Now, last video we created our theme and we had our wallpaper and we set up all of our folders how we were supposed to have them. I also have my iPod showing as it is right here. And we have Winterboard installed. I already opened up Funbox where I have all my themes open. Now, what I want to do is go into more things that, well, more or less more people use. I want to get into the base things. Now, what I'm going to show you how to do is sliders, which are these, um, and the power off button also. If I power off, it does that. I'm going to teach you how to create those, and if you have an iPhone, there's another one for calling. And I'm going to teach you how to create a dock, which is down here, which is the dock where all your icons go. And from there, we'll see how it goes. So what we're going to do is we're going to stick at our theme, and we're going to go here. We're going to go inside Bundles, and I think we're going to go down to... You're going to have to create a new folder. Now, let's see. I think it's Telephony UI. Alright, Telephony UI. Now, Telephony UI is the sliders, and they have to be the exact name. So we're going to go in Bundles, and we're going to create a new folder. I'm going to be lazy and just copy and paste this. Let me try to get this. Let's get this. Copy. Let's see. New folder. And we'll name it inside Bundles Telephony UI. Now that we have it in here, you're going to have to open up Photoshop or something that you can use to edit. And you're going to have to create two icons for this, one for the slider and one for the bottom, for the power off slider, and one for the regular slider. Now, you're going to have GIMP or Photoshop or something like that. You can even use Microsoft Paint, like I've said before. It's just a lot easier to use Photoshop. So let's wait for it to power up, and there we are. Now we're back in Photoshop. Now we take this, and these are our two subjects. Now, bottom bar knob gray is the slider, and bottom bar knob red is the power off. Now I'm just going to take two of these and drag them in here. I'm going to tell you the dimensions of them. The dimensions are 145 by 155. So let's create a new. So I'm going to be like you guys. So let's see. 145, 155. I thought so. Yeah. And that's our slider, I guess. This is what our slider is going to be created out of. Now, you can actually toy around with this, make it skinnier, make it taller, but I like to use this as a default. Now, when you want to create a slider, you want to have something that slides. That would look cool as a Pokeball. Alright, now that we have our Pokeball, let's say you just got your image that you want, and you got it all cropped out. Now you're going to take it here and drag it, Control T, and scale it down. And we're going to make our Pokeball not maybe a little bit big as a slider. Let's just go with it. I like it. Now, we're going to have to name it a weird name. So let's actually create two of these. I'm going to create another I believe it was 145? Yeah. Let's create another one of these. Well, let's make the turn off Pokeball a different color. Like, let's make the slider one. Let's make this the turn off one, and let's make the other one green. Like, let's make this Pokeball green by just playing around with the saturations, and by turning it off or turning it on, it'll represent green as turning on. That's a good shade of green right there, maybe. I like that. So that's that right there, and I'm going to save this as it has to be in PNG. Remember that. YouTube theme, bundles. Come on. And then you will only to. Now what you're gonna have, this is tricky to name it. The one that you want to put in with it, like the one that you want to slide to open it, has to be bottom bar gray. bottom bar gray, x times 2. Save it, you're done. Get rid of it, no one cares. Alright, this, save as, same thing. Is it in here? PNG. Look, we even got our other one in here. Now let's make this a little bit smaller. Now we have to name this one, since it's turning off, we have to name it red. Bottom bar red. It's just how the iPod, they named it. Now named it that. Bottom bar red. And ta-da, now we have Pokeball sliders. If we do this correctly, we'll have Pokeball sliders on my iPod theme. Now, I'm going to put this in the theme itself. So I'm just going to navigate through here. YouTube theme, bundles, and let's just drag telephony in there. Now we go in here and refresh it so you can see the Pokeball in action. Excuse me. I think I have a cold or something. And we wait for a little bit for it to spring. While we're waiting for that, let's try to make something else. Now, we already have that bundle done, so we already have our sliders done. Now, we want to have something we want a dock. Now, a dock is, well, the dock of the device where all the icons lay on the dock. Now, this is in Calm's Apple Springboard, so we're going to have to create a new folder called, well, we're going to have to name it calm.apple.springboard, and that's it. Open it, and we want to name, this is what the dock's going to be, and I'll show you the dimensions. But first, let's check on that iPod slider that we made right now. Accept. Alright, let's scale this down to 50, and let's see how it worked. There we go. Now we have a giant Pokeball slider. And did the other one work? Let's see. Yep, the other one worked. It's a giant Pokeball. Now that we have that done, we can finally create the dock, which is this little thing down here. Now, we don't really like that as the dock because that's very ugly. It's ugly. So now in our Calm Springboard, we're going to make a thing that's called SB Dock Badge. That's the name of it. I can't help the name. It's long, it's weird, but I'll show you the dimensions. New. Now this one is going to be a lot skinnier. It's going to be actually, let's see what the dimensions on it are. Let's look at the properties on it. Properties. Details. It is, width is 940 by 90. Oh, let's see. 9 or 640, I think. 640 by 90. Or was it 940 by 60? It gets confusing considering I'm doing this late at night. Oh, it was 940. Yeah, I think. Whatever. There's our dock. Now that we created our dock, let's get rid of this. This is what your dock's going to look like. You can make it a little bit fatter if you want, but this is the general size that I like to use. Now, let's find a nice dock that we can do. Let's say wooden fence. Fence. PNG. We make it to fit what we want. Now, I'm going to make it like this. I'm going to drag it in here, Control T, I'm going to spread it out. Now that looks a bit ugly to me. Let me make the top bit not so lengthy for I can get more pixel quality. Now we got a little wooden dock. That looks a little bit lame. So I'm actually going to add a little translucent layer on it. A little layer just to add a little zazz. Rounded rectangle. Just going to make a little rounded rectangle right here. About maybe that thick or so. I'm gonna make it a little bit in. Actually, Control T. Let's change this size a bit. Let's drag it all the way out. Let's drag this all the way out. And let's make it a nice color. Is that a nice color? Silver? I think silver's nice. But just because we can, let's make it a little bit more wooden friendly. Make it like that. Change that to, let's add a vector mask. That looks fine to me. Let's go to blending options, and let's go to, let's change the offset to about, let's say around 60. So it gets like a little look in it. So that's our dock that we created. So this is our dock, and we're going to save it as PNG, and we're going to go in Bundles, Springboard, and we're going to have to name it as, SBDock BG at 2x. When I'm typing these names, you might just want to pause it. And that's good. We're done with our dock. Now let's put it in our theme and see how it looks. Now let's go into Bundles, let's take the Springboard, and let's drop it in our here. And now we have to respring and do this all over again. So when it comes back, I'll show you what it looks like now with the new wooden dock we put on it. Could be time to load. And we're on. Let's check it. And let's see, let's make this smaller so we can actually see what we're doing here. And let's see our dock. Now our dock wasn't that big to cover up the whole bottom, but actually that looks pretty nice right there. I like that. That's our custom dock. It actually looks really nice on the iPod itself. So now we have a custom little wooden dock down there with our Zelda background and our Pokeball sliders. That's how you create sliders and docks. Next video I'll be showing you more having to do with batteries and web icons. And that's all for today. Thank you for watching.